What's up? Happy New Year's to you. 2010. It's great. I'm not going to say 2010. I'm going to say 2010 because it's the first year where it sounds all right to say that. You can't say 2009. 29. You can't. It's not right. All right, but 2010 is awesome. All right, we can do that now. Let's talk about some shit off of the last video about Iran. Let's discuss some points brought up. Just remember, if I'm responding to a comment you made, I'm not attacking you or anything. I'm just responding to your questions or your comments or whatever. The one thing I do know is that whenever anyone wants free, unrigged elections, then it's worth showing solidarity. All right, I agree with you most of the time. Most of the time, I agree with you. Okay, but the president of Iran does not run the show. It doesn't really matter how free or unrigged the elections are if he's not in charge. Okay, he does not have the final word. Okay, the army and the Ayatollah does. All right, that's one of the points I was trying to make. Okay, and it's not clear really to anyone. And based on the comments I've received, there's a whole different types of people protesting right now. It's not really clear, is this movement going to overthrow the Islamic government or not? Okay, and if they want the right to freely elect people within an Islamic theocracy, you know what? I don't give a fuck what they do inside of an Islamic theocracy. Okay, I don't really care if they're having their rights trampled. It seems like something that they fucking asked for, frankly. When anyone stands up against Israel, then it's worth showing solidarity. All right, let's talk about Israel. Israel is something you kind of don't have a choice but to talk about when you talk about the Middle East. Now, I'm not pro-Israel, and I'm not really anti-Israel. Let me discuss this. It was, first of all, it was fucking retarded for us, and mostly the British, to put the Jews in Palestine. That was fucking stupid, okay? We put the burden of our guilt, the collective burden of the Western world's guilt over failing to prevent the Holocaust, we put that burden on the people of Palestine and ultimately the people of the Middle East, and that was wrong, okay? That was wrong. The only way that we could have fairly created a Jewish homeland or whatever would be to cut a chunk off of Germany and give it to them. But we didn't do that, okay? Maybe they did it. There's all different kinds of reasons why they might have done it this way. Maybe they did it because they felt bad for the Jews, but they didn't think that the Jews were worth a part of Europe. Okay, they probably did it mostly so that they would have a guaranteed friendly nation in the Middle East to help counter Soviet influence in the area. So there's all different kinds of reasons that they did it. Unfortunately, they did do it, and all the people that made those decisions are dead. This happened a long time ago, and the Jews are not going anywhere. Okay. And it doesn't really matter what Iran or Saudi Arabia or Egypt has to say about it because Israel kicks ass and takes names. They also violate the rules of war from time to time, well, actually more than from time to time, and they do things that even we don't do, like using human shields to help clear out buildings and shit like that. That's fucked up, okay? But they kick ass and take names. Okay, Israel's not going anywhere. We can't just move all of these people. Okay, so Israel is going to be a going concern. I do not think we should be supporting them the way we are because it's the main reason that everyone over there hates us. That's very obvious. And I hope that as oil becomes less and less important to the world economy, that we can just totally abandon this region of the world and pretend that it never existed. Oh, fucking well. And as that continues, as the trend as oil becomes less and less important, Israel is going to become less and less important, even to the people who are really gung-ho for Israel. Because it'll become less and less important to have a friendly state in the area. But I don't really care who wins the battle between Jews and Muslims. I don't. Okay, I don't care who wins the Holy Land. If it wasn't for all the really cool things of historical value, I'd prefer that they just burn the whole fucking thing down around themselves. And any time a bunch of Jews want to kill a bunch of Muslims, that's fucking great. If we could get a bunch of Christians over there too, let's get the Christian army, the Jewish army, and the Muslim army over there. We'll have them fight it out over Jerusalem. It'd be fucking awesome. I'm 100% for that, okay? I don't care. When the world plays the game of racial hate, I counter that by showing solidarity to the hatred. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this means. Maybe this has something to do with the internal politics of Iran that I don't know anything about. Maybe some kind of racial politics that I'm not aware of. The only thing I can think of is this has to do with racism towards Middle Eastern people. People in Iran don't want to be called Arabs. They want to be called Persians, which, whatever. That's akin to living in Italy and trying to claim yourself as Roman. But I don't know how much of a racial motivation is here. For me personally, there's definitely a motivation of religious hate. I hate Islam. Okay, and Islam's stated goal is to see me either convert or die, and I think that that's a pretty good reason to hate somebody, and anybody who subscribes to that belief. And the fact that a group of people are Muslims, frankly, reduces the amount of sympathy I have for anything that happens to them. And if you can't fucking handle that, that's way too bad. And this doesn't have anything to do with the conflict between terrorism in the United States or the conflict between the Western world and the Middle East. This has to do with the conflict between me and religion and wanting to see it go away and die and burn to the ground and take everyone who believes in it with it. So, if they're willing to kill each other, that's just fucking great, okay? I'm up for that. In fact, I say they should have a war. That's great. Iran should start a war with Israel. It would lose, but I'd like to see it. This person also added the comment, and are you trying to tell me your president runs his show? Lol. Well, the president doesn't run the show, Congress does. But the thing is that there's no there's no dictator for life that rules over the government of the United States. Okay, we don't have that. All right, the president of the United States has much more power in the United States than the president of Iran has in Iran. Okay. Let's look at some other comments here. We need to get our agents out of Iran, pull the dog Israel off her ankles, and sanction Israel to abide to the same international law we sanction Iran for. But pull Israel back and back off Iran. They're changing on their own. It's none of your business. Well, I counter that it is collectively our business, and particularly America's business, because there are thousands and thousands of American citizens, young men and women, right next door to Iran right now, and anything that's going on in Iran is a pressing concern to me. I'm sorry, I would prefer that it wasn't, but right now it is. Okay. Instability in Iran can mean instability in the entire region. If you want me to be completely frank, it might be better for the entire region if Iran maintains its current government right now. Okay. Because the U.S. and Israel continuously threaten Iran, sanction Iran the whole time while being an arms, including nuclear dealer to Iran, was the reason the people wanted protection. Of course, they are tired of all this warmongering and changing on their own. They do not need any involvement from the U.S. or anyone else. Well, I'd certainly hope not. That comment makes it seem like you thought I was implying we should intervene, which I'm not. I don't want any parts of that. I don't think we should threaten Iran any more than any other country, but sorry, Iran having nuclear weapons is bad. Okay, nuclear weapons only serve their function to prevent war when as few countries as possible have them. Okay, Iran having nuclear weapons upsets the entire balance of world power. Okay. So it claims that we're being an arms dealer, nuclear to Iran. No, I don't think we ever sold any nuclear weapons to Iran. We used to sell arms to Iran, but I don't think we do it anymore. The need to do that disappeared when the Soviet Union did. Okay, and you might not like it, But we had a legitimate reason, the Western world had a legitimate reason to be involved in the internal politics of Iran because the Soviet Union was interested in being involved in the internal politics of Iran, and at the time it was best that we were involved in a country's internal politics instead of the Soviet Union. And that's just the way things go, okay? I don't know. So that was a couple of things, man. That was a couple of things to talk about. I enjoy the conversation. I was surprised to get a 5-star rating on this last video, but hey, whatever. I'll talk to you folks later.